Something just broke in the atmosphere. Meteorologists are scrambling to understand what this means for your January. And the answer? It's not what anyone expected. December started cold, brutal cold. Then it flipped warm. Now it's about to flip again. But this time, the flip could be historic. Here's what you need to know in the next 30 seconds. 3 weather events are colliding. An atmospheric river in California, a stratospheric warming event, and the deepest snowpack in Siberia in 15 years. When these 3 collide, everything changes. Your reward at 30 seconds? January 17th. This is the date when the pattern shift becomes undeniable. Write it down. Set a reminder. This date matters more than any other this winter. But why January 17th? That answer is coming at 2 minutes 45 seconds, the most important explanation in this entire forecast. Right now, Northern California is under siege. An atmospheric river dumping 10 to 12 inches of rain. The Weather Prediction Center issued a slight risk for flash flooding. Translation? Significant flooding is not just possible, it's likely. 7 to 12 inches of rain between now and Monday morning. That's not a typo. Some areas could see a foot of rain in 72 hours. Rivers will overflow. Mudslides will occur. This is a major event. The Sierras are getting hammered with snow. Finally, after a lackluster start, feet of snow possible above 7,000 feet elevation. Interstate 80 will require chains. Interstate 5 could close in spots. But here's the shocking contrast. While California drowns, the eastern United States is experiencing spring in December. Temperatures 30 to 35 degrees above normal for the final 10 days of the year. Job chapter 37 verses 9 and 10 tell us, "The tempest comes out from its chamber, the cold from the driving winds. The breath of God produces ice, and the broad waters become frozen." God controls the weather, not us. And right now, he's showing us dramatic contrasts. Eastern Canada is getting absolutely buried. A 970 millibar low-pressure system. That's a beast. Anything below 980 millibars is significant. This is powerful. Snow falling at over an inch per hour in Quebec. Wind gusts to 55 miles per hour. Blizzard conditions. White-out conditions. Travel is impossible in some areas. Behind that system, another Arctic front building in Manitoba. This one is weaker, 985 millibars, but it's still bringing reinforcing cold to the upper Midwest. Wind chills this weekend? Try minus 20 inches Minneapolis, minus 30 inches Winnipeg, minus 50 inches Yukon Territory. That's frostbite in 5 minutes or less on exposed skin. Lake effect snow machines are firing up. The Great Lakes are still warm, around 40 degrees. Arctic air screaming across 40-degree water creates massive instability. That instability generates heavy snow. Buffalo could see 12 inches by Sunday night. Cleveland, 8 to 10 inches. Erie, Pennsylvania, similar amounts. The snowbelt knows this drill, but it never gets easier. Here's what's fascinating. Quebec and Ontario have over 3 feet of snowpack already. Some areas have 4 feet. That deep snow creates a feedback loop. It keeps temperatures suppressed. It reflects sunlight. It's a natural air conditioner. Now, the 2-minute 45-second promise. Why does January 17th matter so much? The stratosphere is warming. Not a little. A lot. Models show a 25 to 30 degrees Celsius warming in the next 2 weeks. For context, that's a 45 to 54 degree Fahrenheit swing in the stratosphere. When the stratosphere warms suddenly, it disrupts the polar vortex. The polar vortex is like a river of air circling the North Pole. It keeps Arctic air locked up north, but when that river gets disrupted, the Arctic escapes, and it floods south, into Canada, into the United States, all the way to Texas. Historical data shows surface impacts occur 10 to 21 days after a stratospheric warming event. If the warming peaks around January 7th or 8th, we're looking at impacts around January 17th to 20th. That's why January 17th is the date. That's when the Arctic arrives. That's when winter shows up with authority. But there's more. The snowpack in Siberia is deeper than normal, significantly deeper, and snowpack in Asia affects weather patterns in North America 4 to 6 weeks later. It's called teleconnections. Everything is connected. Deep snow in Russia means cold air exports to us. It's happened before. It's happening again. I'm seeing parallels to January 1996. Brutally cold month. Western Canada got hammered. The eastern U.S. saw multiple Arctic blasts. It was driven by deep Asian snowpack. Also seeing parallels to January 2000, big temperature swings. But when the cold arrived, it was intense. Ice storms, heavy snow, power outages. This January could be a mix of both. Warm spells interrupted by serious cold. And when that cold unleashes, it could be memorable. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 reminds us, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. We're entering a season of change. God's timing is perfect, even in weather. Let me walk you through what Christmas week looks like, because it's completely different from late January. Christmas Eve, December 24th. Ridiculously warm. A massive ridge of high pressure over the central U.S. Temperatures in the 50 seconds and 60 seconds across the middle of the country. The 50-degree line extends into southern Canada. The freezing line, 32 degrees, pushed way up into Ontario. This is not normal for December 24th. Christmas morning, you'll wake up to 30 seconds and 40 seconds. By afternoon, those temperatures jump to 50 seconds, 60 seconds, even 70 seconds in the deep south. One of the warmest Christmases on record for many locations. White Christmas, not happening in the lower 48 unless you're in the mountains. You'll need to go to Canada for guaranteed snow. Quebec has you covered. Ontario, too. But south of the border, forget it. The ridge is amplifying. An offshore trough near the west coast is making the ridge even stronger. Clockwise flow around that ridge pushes moisture west, not east. That's why the eastern seaboard looks dry through New Year's. No big storms, no snow, just mild temperatures and quiet weather. California is the exception. The west coast is active, very active, storm after storm, atmospheric river after atmospheric river. If you're traveling to California for Christmas, pay attention. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Sacramento airports could see delays. Heavy rain and low clouds cause cancellations. Driving in the mountains, snow tires mandatory, chains required. Highway patrol will turn you around if you're not prepared. Northern California could see 15 to 20 inches of rain total between now and December 30th. That's almost 2 feet of rain. Flash flood warnings will be continuous. But even in disaster, there's blessing. California's reservoirs are refilling. Lake Shasta, Lake Oroville, Folsom Lake, all rising. After years of drought, this is a miracle. Psalm 65 verse 9. You care for the land and water it. You enrich it abundantly. The streams of God are filled with water to provide the people with grain. God provides through the rain. Now let's shift to January. Week by week breakdown. Week 1, January 1st through 7th. Alaska is cold. Western Canada is cold. Western U.S. stays chilly. But the East, still mild. Ridge is weakening, but still in control. Week 2, January 8th through 14th. The battle begins. Warm air trying to hold on. Cold air trying to push in. Temperature fluctuations, a clipper system or two, maybe a weak storm in the Midwest. Week 3, January 15th through 21st. Game over. The dam breaks. Arctic air floods south. A massive ridge builds near Alaska. That ridge pushes the cold into the lower 48. Snow line drops into Oklahoma and Arkansas. Texas could see snow. The Ohio Valley gets buried. I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston is in play. Week 4, January 22nd through 28th. If the polar vortex cooperates, this could be brutally cold. Historic cold. The kind that breaks records. Polar Vortex 2. Computer models are showing this. Not just one model, multiple models. European, American, GFS, Canadian, they all show a significant pattern change mid-month. But models are just guidance. They're not gospel. Small changes in the Pacific can cascade into big differences here. What I can say with confidence, the ingredients are there. Stratospheric warming, check. Deep Asian snowpack, check. Ridge building near Alaska, check. When these ingredients come together, major winter weather follows. Not always, but often enough to take seriously. Matthew chapter 24, verse 20 says, "Pray that your flight will not take place in winter." Even Jesus acknowledged winter's challenges. Be prepared. Action steps for you right now. 1. Finish Christmas shopping early this week. Don't wait until Christmas Eve. Weather in California could disrupt shipping. 2. Service your car before January 15th. Check antifreeze. Check tire pressure. Cold weather is hard on vehicles. 3. Stock your pantry by mid-January. If late January brings major storms, you don't want to be fighting crowds at the grocery store. 4. Check on elderly neighbors regularly. When Arctic air arrives, heating systems get stressed. People need help. The Midwest is about to ride a temperature roller coaster. Sub-zero this weekend, warming into Christmas, then potential for bitter cold in late January. Saturday night into Sunday morning, wind chill advisories are posted. Frostbite can occur in under 30 minutes with wind chills of -20 to -30. Bundle up, layers, cover exposed skin, limit time outside. This is dangerous cold. Quebec and Ontario, your snowpack is insane. 3 to 4 feet on the ground. More coming this weekend. You could end the month with 5 feet in spots. That snowpack will feed back into January temperatures. It'll keep you cold even when milder air tries to move in. Lake effect snow continues through the weekend. Enhanced bands off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Some areas could see 18 inches total by Monday. Christmas week travel looks good for most areas, except California. Flight delays likely in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Jose. Road travel in the Sierra Nevada will be difficult. Plan extra time. Expect closures. Have emergency supplies in your car. New Year's Eve forecast? Mild for the eastern, 2/3 of the country, 40 seconds and 50 seconds. Maybe some rain? Nothing severe. It's the quiet before the January storm. The stratospheric warming event is the key to everything. If it happens as forecast, the polar vortex weakens. Arctic air escapes. We all pay the price. Think of it like a dam. The polar vortex is the dam holding back Arctic air. Stratospheric warming cracks the dam. By mid-January, the dam breaks. The flood comes. Snow lovers, your patience could pay off. Late January might deliver. Multiple storms, heavy accumulations, the kind of winter you remember. Snow haters, I'm sorry. But it's coming. Probably. The data suggests it. History supports it. Be ready. The second half of January could see snow coverage explode across the U.S. First half looks warm and rainy. Second half could be cold and snowy. Major cities that haven't seen snow yet, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., your time might be coming. Late January into early February looks active. Ice is also a concern. Not just snow. When you get temperature battles, you get freezing rain. And freezing rain is worse than snow. Proverbs chapter 25 verse 13 says, "Like a snow-cooled drink at harvest time is a trustworthy messenger to the one who sends him." Even snow has purpose in God's creation. But here's the bigger picture. Weather reminds us we're not in control. We make plans. God directs our steps. You can't control if it snows, you can't control if it's warm, but you can control your response. You can prepare, you can help others, you can trust God. That's faith in action, not denying reality, not ignoring forecasts, but trusting that God is sovereign over everything, including weather. January 17th is the date to watch. The patterns shift, the Arctic arrival, the winter that finally shows up. Between now and then, enjoy the warmth. Enjoy Christmas. Spend time with family. Don't stress about weather that's still weeks away. But come mid-January, be ready. Not fearful, but ready. Prepared, not panicked. Check back for daily updates. The forecast will sharpen. The timing will improve. The impacts will become clearer. Share this with people who need to know. Your church family, your neighbors, your coworkers. Information prevents surprises. Stay safe in California this week, stay warm in the cold zones, and stay tuned as this remarkable pattern continues to evolve. God is in control. His plans are perfect. His timing is impeccable. Even when weather gets wild, he remains faithful. The winter forecast just got very interesting, and we'll walk through it together one day at a time. Be blessed, stay prepared, and remember, you're never alone in the storm. This is just the beginning of what January might bring, and we'll be here every step of the way. God bless you all.